pretty high. However, I've recently learned that there are some gas stations with full-on hidden restaurants inside them, allegedly serving up delicious food. I'm not quite sure I believe that, which is why, in this video, I'll be eating at a few gas station restaurants and putting them to the test to find out once and for all if the best food in town is somewhere you'd least expect. Alrighty everyone, I've made it to the first spot of the day, and hidden inside this unassuming Shell gas station is a restaurant known as Montes Burrito. Established in 1998, as the name suggests, they specialize in burritos. But apparently they do take things up a notch by using homemade flour tortillas, which I don't think you'd expect from a place like this. To be honest, a gas station burrito sounds like the thing that would make me aggressively sick. But the thing is, the most common type of restaurant found in a gas station is a Mexican spot. I'm not entirely sure if that serves as a guarantee for the food being good, but I am about to find out. Y'all, I think this is it. After walking past the typical gas station interior, I was surprised to see a full restaurant counter with an open kitchen, actual seating, awards on the wall, and even a line of people waiting to order. Now it appears they do have quite a few different options to choose from, and although I am not a detective, I can only assume that the thing to get here is the burrito bearing the restaurant name, so that's what I'm gonna get. I'll admit, I was a bit hesitant to place my order at first, but I figured there had to be a reason these types of restaurants are in gas stations everywhere. See, Mexican food, at least in the US, has always met people where they worked and traveled. From taco trucks pulling up to job sites, to the women selling food in the plazas of San Antonio over 100 years ago. It seems like the gas station is just the newest version of that. Alright everyone, my burrito has officially been ordered, and while I wait, now is about time to let y'all know that I'll be judging every place I visit today based on two very simple things: how much the food costs, and how tasty it is. All to find out whether or not these restaurants are actually gas. Yeah, I know that was bad. I'm gonna go get my food now. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Ladies and gents, I am back in my car because unfortunately the restaurant is a little tiny and I felt awkward doing a food review in there. But don't worry, the burrito has been acquired. I would like to eat this before it gets cold, so let's unwrap this thing. Okay, not too shabby. Again, the one I got is their Montes burrito, which I believe is classified as a breakfast item since it comes with bacon, sausage, egg, cheese, and potatoes. They also gave me two different salsas to use. We got a green one and a red one. In total, this burrito came out to around $5.49. When I take into account the portion size, I feel like that's not too bad of a price. Although this burrito does look and smell good, at the end of the day, it still is just a burrito from a gas station, so I'm not entirely sure why people rave about it so much, but there's only one way to find out. Let's give this a try. Gonna go with the red salsa first, since I think this is the less spicy one. Pour a little on top. Cheers. Okay. Now I want to try with the green salsa. Hey, yo, this is actually really good. I am quite surprised. See, normally, I'm not actually the biggest fan of breakfast burritos because I feel like they tend to be too eggy most of the time. That is not the case with this breakfast burrito. Somehow you can still taste all of the individual ingredients. The bacon's nice and crispy, the eggs are fluffy and seasoned well, it's got the meatiness of the sausage buried somewhere in there. And you can't forget the homemade tortilla. It's thin, soft, and not overly chewy like the store-bought ones. I really did not think I would like this, but I am very pleasantly surprised. This would genuinely be a great breakfast to grab on the go on your way to work. Well, there you go. I absolutely crushed that. Now that I am officially done with my meal, it is finally time to decide whether Montes Burrito is gas or a pass. Y'all like that? Pretty proud of myself, because it rhymes. Based on the fact that the burrito was solid, the salsas are great, and like I said before, the handmade tortillas make a huge difference. Personally, Montes Burrito is most definitely gas. Some of y'all might think I'm hyping them up too much, but at the Now is about time to let y'all know that I'll be judging every place I visit today based on two very simple things: how much the food costs and how tasty it is. All to find out whether or not these restaurants are actually gas. Yeah, I know that was bad. I'm gonna go get my food now. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Ladies and gents, I am back in my car because unfortunately the restaurant is a little tiny and I felt awkward doing a food review in there. But don't worry, the burrito has been acquired. I would like to eat this before it gets cold, so let's unwrap this thing. Okay, not too shabby. Again, the one I got is their Montes burrito, which I believe is classified as a breakfast item since it comes with bacon, sausage, egg, cheese, and potatoes. They also gave me 2 different salsas to use. We got a green one and a red one. In total, this burrito came out to around $5.49. When I take into account the portion size, I feel like that's not too bad of a price. Although this burrito does look and smell good, at the end of the day, it still is just a burrito from a gas station, so I'm not entirely sure why people rave about it so much, but there's only one way to find out. Let's give this a try. Gonna go with the red salsa first, since I think this is the less spicy one. Pour a little on top. Cheers. Okay. Now I want to try with the green salsa. Hey, yo, this is actually really good. I am quite surprised. See, normally, I'm not actually the biggest fan of breakfast burritos because I feel like they tend to be too eggy most of the time. That is not the case with this breakfast burrito. Somehow you can still taste all of the individual ingredients. The bacon's nice and crispy. The eggs are fluffy and seasoned well. It's got the meatiness of the sausage buried somewhere in there. And you can't forget the homemade tortilla. It's thin, soft, and not overly chewy like the store-bought ones. I really did not think I would like this, but I am very pleasantly surprised. This would genuinely be a great breakfast to grab on the go on your way to work. Well, there you go. I absolutely crushed that. Now that I am officially done with my meal, it is finally time to decide whether Montes burrito is gas or a pass. Y'all like that? Pretty proud of myself, because it rhymes. Based on the fact that the burrito was solid, the salsas are great, and like I said before, the handmade tortillas make a huge difference. Personally, Montes burrito is most definitely gas. Some of y'all might think I'm hyping them up too much, but at the end of the day, $5.49 for that, that's a great deal no matter how you look at it. So I've now made it to a pretty interesting restaurant known as John's Backyard Grill. It's in the back of this Chevron. Apparently this place has been around since 2008, and a bunch of different Dallas magazines have written articles about them. But despite the many accolades, the reviews are quite divisive. With Todd calling the place an overpriced, smelly ripoff, Daniel saying that the meat was dry, the lettuce was limp, and that it was barely edible, not to mention some reviews that were so bad, they got removed for breaking Yelp's terms of service. So is eating here a good idea? I'm not entirely sure, but like always, it's better to let the food speak for itself. Hello, how do I get to John's? Oh, just back there? Okay, cool, thank you, appreciate it. Now, according to my sources, aka the internet, the most interesting thing about John's isn't the reviews or the awards. It's that the gas station they're in has completely changed names since they opened. What's currently a Chevron used to be a Shell, yet John's has stayed the exact same. So I can confirm, it does look like this place has been here for a while. The inside honestly gave off more of a dive bar vibe than a restaurant, with the sheet metal walls, a little bar lined with stools, and a menu with way more options than you'd expect. Now I believe the thing to get here is their Mexican burger, which costs a little over $9, kind of on the expensive side if you ask me. And according to D Magazine, it's recommended to get the burgers here medium rare with an extra slice of cheese. So I placed my order, and of course, I had to pay using my beautiful Chime card, especially because when I go out to eat, I get cash back. If you don't know what Chime is, they're actually America's #1 choice for banking, offering a smarter way to manage your money. Plus, they're also the sponsor of today's video. Thank you. With the Chime card, you also get 5% cash back in a category of your choice, whether it's groceries, gas, dining, travel, and more. You can even change the category every month to fit your lifestyle. Obviously, I chose to get cash back on food because I be eating. Chime also lets you get your paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit, and your funds are FDIC insured through Chime's bank partners, so you can rest easy knowing your money is secure. Right now, you can get up to a $350 bonus with Chime exclusively through my link down in the description box below, or this QR code on screen. Again, that's up to a $350 bonus plus 5% cash back with Chime, so make sure you use my link down in the description or by scanning this big old QR code. Boom, ad read over, and y'all, my burger has been acquired. Now, in case anyone is wondering where I'm suddenly at, well, it turns out that this restaurant actually has like this huge outdoor patio area behind it. I was not expecting this from a gas station, but I do understand why the place is called John's Backyard now. I found the backyard. I also want to mention that it does not smell like a dump inside or outside of this place, so I'm not entirely sure what the heck Todd was on, but I feel like he was mad for no reason. Anyways, here we have John's Backyard Grill's Mexican burger. The burger itself comes with pepper jack cheese, pico de gallo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and jalapeno. Honestly, when I first saw the price, I did think it was a bit expensive, but after seeing everything that it comes with, that price does make a lot more sense. Oh, and it also comes with a heaping portion of seasoned fries, which I most definitely have to try, like, right now. Cheers. Oh yeah, those are some very yummy fries. They are seasoned beautifully, and I was not expecting them to be lemon pepper flavored. That is very tasty. I do wish they were a little crispier since they're more on like the potato-y side, but flavor-wise, these are fantastic. Now let's try this burger. Bro, this thing is huge. Again, when I take this into account, the price, not so bad. Now, although this exceeds all expectations from what you'd imagine a gas station burger looking like, I am very curious how it compares to all of the other burgers I've tried in this city. Let's find out. Cheers. Dude, not only is this burger spot on, but I don't think I've had a burger with like this much stuff going on in it. The first thing I want to note, and I'm not sure why I didn't notice this just by looking at it, but even though the burger itself is quite large, I guess the patty was smashed because it has that nice like crispy texture to it, which I am a big fan of. Smash burger supremacy all the way. The mayo avocado combo adds richness to the entire thing, and the pico tastes super fresh, adding that nice touch of acidity. Look at that. I'm spitting right now. Suddenly I can describe food. Now my one critique is that I did ask for it medium rare, but as y'all can see, it's not. I feel like I can give them a pass on that though because the meat is still super juicy. Overall, very solid, and I think I might have found my new go-to burger spot. Whew. Okay, based on the fact that I pretty much devoured this entire thing, I believe it's safe to say that this is a great burger. With that being said, despite how delicious the food here is, this all by itself is not the only reason why John's Backyard Grill has been alive for so long. It's really the people running the place. See, for every bad review, there's like 10 other good ones from customers who've been coming here for years, with their reason for sticking around being very obvious. If I haven't made myself clear enough, John's Backyard Grill is most definitely gas. So I finally arrived at the next location, and inside the Valero behind me is a place known as Tropical Finger Licking Restaurant. I promise, I am not joking. That is the actual name of this next restaurant. Anyways, there is absolutely no information online about when this restaurant first came to be, so all I know is that they specialize in African cooking, and they have a perfect 5 stars on Google. I've only had African food one other time in my life, but I do know that the dishes themselves are very difficult to make. How it's possible to run a restaurant like this out of a gas station? I have no idea, but let's go find out. Not only is this place inside a gas station, it's also right next to a tire shop. Never seen that before. Hello. Is this where the Tropical Finger Licking Restaurant is? Yeah. Oh, it's over here. Okay, cool. Hello. So unlike Montez and John's, the restaurant setup here was a bit different. Maybe it's because the entire gas station as a whole was smaller than the others, but I noticed there was no seating, and instead, they operate on takeout only. As for the food, rather than having like a gigantic menu, it seems like you just grab what you want out of this glass case, which is very convenient. I did ask for recommendations though, since I'm still fairly new to African food, and I wanted to make sure I got the good stuff. Once that decision was made, the total came out to around $32, which definitely is the most expensive meal I'm having so far. Hopefully it's worth it. All right, everyone, the food has been acquired, and I'm gonna say it right here, right now, my car smells so good. Now, the dude at the restaurant, who I believe may also be the owner of the place, was extremely nice and recommended that I get their suya, which, for those of y'all who don't know, suya is a traditional Nigerian dish dating back centuries, consisting of smoke-grilled spiced meat on a skewer, and it's literally one of the most popular dishes across West Africa. I did not get this dish the last time I had African food, so I am very excited to try it for the first time. So without further ado, let's open this bad boy up. Dude,
What? I have so many different thoughts racing around my brain right now. I cannot believe what I'm holding in my hands is coming out of a gas station. This is crazy. As y'all can see, this suya looks absolutely delicious. And I actually got two different types. Over here, we have the beef suya, and over here, pork suya. I'm pretty sure the restaurant also sells other traditional African dishes like egusi soup and fufu. However, I think you have to order it ahead, which does make sense since that would be quite difficult to make and maintain inside a gas station. Anyways, that's enough yapping. It is time to give this suya a try. First things first, let's try the beef suya. Gonna go ahead and stab it with this little toothpick. Cheers. I am so confused right now, guys. That's good. I'll admit, when I first picked up a piece with my toothpick, I thought it was gonna be dry, but it's surprisingly super tender, packed with spices that I would not be able to name, but is delicious. And the outside of the meat has like a really nice char to it. Not bad for my first bite. Now let's try the pork. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh yeah, this is a way bigger bite than before. Why is that also good? This makes zero sense. Just like the beef, the pork suya has so much flavor. I'm tasting peppers, onions. It's got a good amount of salt to it. It's very meaty, which I like. I mean, you can literally see the spices on the meat. My only critique is that it's a little drier than the beef. However, that's not like a make or break. It's still like really good. I genuinely have absolutely no idea how this dish came out of a gas station and why. You know what? Let's go find out. I'm back. All right, everyone, so I am now here with
Bovet Maloba. This is Tropical Finger Licking Restaurant.
So I have a few questions for you. First things first, do you make the food in the gas station? Because that's what has been confusing me the entire time.
Yes, we make it right here. You can see we have our oven there. Yeah, we make everything right here.
That is insane. I honestly thought you like made it at like a different kitchen and you brought it in. That is super impressive that you make it out of a gas station.
Yeah, and I make it myself.
Wow. Next question then, why did you decide to open up a restaurant in a gas station? Because normally when you think of food in a gas station, it's not like the best. Why did you choose to make a restaurant here of all places?
Okay, I'm trying to sell a culture. So this is tropical food, and tropical food is not very popular in America. So how do I take it to the people who have to come to where everyday people come easily, like this, a gas station. I know everybody moves into the gas station. So that's my own way of bringing tropical food to the people.
Got it, dude. That is amazing. Well, that is all the questions I had. It was so nice meeting you. The suya was absolutely amazing. I hope the restaurant flourishes.
Let me salute the viewers. I can see my brother is from Asia. I love Asian people. What I need, those who are from China, what I need. What I chung means what are we? What I what I chung and all like jelly. It's fun. Hiya, it's fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I think at this point, he might be more Asian than I am.
All jokes aside, I think it's obvious where I stand on this one. Tropical finger-licking restaurant for sure has my approval.
All right, everyone, so I am now in the car with my beautiful girlfriend, Carrie, and we are currently on a mini road trip, driving about an hour out to eat something that 99% of people say you should never get at a gas station, but I'm doing it anyways. Carrie, do you think this is a good idea, what we are currently embarking on?
Personally, no. It's not my first choice.
Are you willing to try it?
Yes. I wouldn't be driving with you if I wasn't willing.
Oh, really? I brought you along just in case I get sick.
Oh, good. So we'll just get sick together.
Hey, that's couple goals right there. Genuinely, I have no idea what to expect out of this next restaurant, but we will see y'all there. Ladies and gents, I have finally arrived at the one and only Bristol General Store.
Located in Bristol, Texas, this unique convenience store gas station combo has been around since 2006 and is famous for, drumroll please, sushi.
That's right, I drove all the way out here just to eat gas station sushi. Now, like I said in the car, 99% of people will probably tell you never to eat sushi from a gas station. However, the interesting thing about this place is that they've actually been featured on the Texas Bucket List TV show as one of the things you gotta try. Truthfully, I am very nervous about this one, but nothing's disappointed me so far, so fingers crossed, this will not either. Let's go inside.
so I'm really not sure what I expected a gas station famous for sushi to look like, but it wasn't this. Oh, whoa. Inside, it was everything you'd expect from a regular country store. Shelves of chips, fridges filled with drinks, motor oil, cigarettes, normal. Then, out of nowhere, you see a lady making sushi.
This is like totally unexpected. Now, before I place my order, I think y'all should know how sushi ended up in a gas station like this in the first place.
See, back in 2006, a couple from South Korea wanted to open up a regular old sushi restaurant, but couldn't afford one. What they could afford was this place.
Then for the next 15 years, the sushi from this spot kept getting amazing reviews until the original couple decided to retire.
But instead of shutting the place down or selling it to some restaurant group, they sold it to two of their regulars. A couple that loved the place so much, they bought it to keep it alive.
Clearly this place means a lot to the people out here, but I still gotta know whether the sushi lives up to the hype.
After placing my order, I was told to walk outside into the building next door where their dining room is. And after waiting there for just a short while...
Hello.
How are y'all doing?
Fantastic, how are you?
Doing excellent.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gents, the gas station sushi has been acquired. I'm scared to open this. All right, so here we have their rattlesnake roll, which was recommended to me. And over here, 5 pieces of tuna nigiri. Carrie, based on first impressions, what do you think of the sushi?
I don't know if it's just because I'm really hungry, but I think it looks pretty good.
First up, I want to try the roll that was recommended to me, called their rattlesnake roll.
According to the menu, this is filled with crab, avocado, fried shrimp, cream cheese, and jalapenos before finally being topped with eel sauce.
Cheers. I feel like this video is basically going to be a compilation of me just being surprised because this is quite good. This is pretty much like a Philly roll because of the crab and cream cheese, but there's also jalapeno in here, which adds a nice little kick. The spice from the jalapeno also pairs pretty well with the eel sauce since that's kind of sweet.
Overall, this is a roll I did not mind spending $10 on.
Now it's time to try the tuna nigiri. I'm very curious how this is gonna taste because normally when I go to like a fancy sit-down sushi spot, nigiri is like my go-to order.
And unlike that rattlesnake roll, this time there is no hiding behind sauces or extra toppings. All that matters for this bite is the rice and the fish.
We are literally in the middle of nowhere. How on earth did they get fresh tuna? I care. You gotta try this. What you think?
Honestly, that's pretty good.
The actual cut on the tuna is not sliced in the way you'd see at a 5-star sushi restaurant, but flavor-wise, everything's good. It's a generous portion of tuna.
The fish itself was tender. The rice, although not perfectly packed, still had that tiny bit of sweetness. I really wasn't mad about it.
This is for sure better than what you'd find at like a grocery store. Now, at the same time, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Is this the best sushi I've had in my entire life? Obviously not. I did not expect it to be. But if we take into account that this is coming from a gas station in the middle of nowhere,
at that point, it's pretty impressive. Honestly, going into this little gas station experiment, I thought I was making a big mistake. But now I'm starting to think myself and many others have judged these places way too fast. Maybe opening a restaurant in a gas station isn't the first choice, but people do it because sometimes it's the only way in. A way into a new city, a new cuisine, or even just a way to help the local community. Regardless of the reason, I think I have to start visiting restaurants like this more often. Over the last few years, major restaurant chains all over the country keep filing for bankruptcy. I'm talking Red Lobster, TGI Fridays, Applebee's. What's crazy is that a lot of these restaurants used to be childhood favorites for millions of people. But sooner or later, there might not be a single one of them left. I think that's really sad. So in this video, I'll be investigating 5 bankrupt restaurant chains to learn what happened and figure out if any of them can actually be saved. Starting with
Buca di Beppo. I can't lie, I really like saying the name of this place.
Buca di Beppo was established in 1993 as a family-style Italian restaurant. In the early 2000s, they had over 100 locations. But as of August 5th, 2024, they officially filed for bankruptcy.
According to the news, it was due to things like rising food costs, lack of customers, and overall the pandemic. But after doing a little digging myself, I don't think that's all there is to it, and I'll explain more once I get some food. I also want to add, I've only been to this restaurant maybe one time in my entire life, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect out of the food quality, but fingers crossed it's good. Maybe not though, since, you know, they're filing for bankruptcy. Hey, how's it going? Just for one. Awesome, thank you.
All right, y'all, so I just got seated, and right off the bat, I am surprised that the restaurant isn't completely empty. Now, as for the menu, it does seem like Buca di Beppo has all of your big batch, classic Italian-American food options. This menu is so big, I feel like there's like 100 different options on here, which is insane. I think their signature item has to be these world-famous meatballs, since, you know, they're world-famous. However, I don't want to eat just meatballs. The good news is, it seems like I can still get them along with some spaghetti, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Sweet, thanks man, appreciate it.
All right, so the food should be on the way, and in order for me to decide whether any of these bankrupt restaurant chains can actually be saved, I'll be judging every spot based on how good the food is, the value, and whether or not these restaurants have their own unique selling point.
Awesome, thank you.
So the food has arrived, and I'm speechless. Even though I knew Buca di Beppo was known for their large portion sizes, this amount of food is diabolical.
So right here we have their spaghetti and meatballs, which cost almost $40.
It literally looks like I'm about to do one of those crazy eating challenges, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know I'm not good at those.
I definitely have to point this out, even though the portion size is large, since it cost $40, you would expect there'd be more than just 2 meatballs on the plate. Value-wise, doesn't seem so great.
Let's go ahead and get things started by trying just the pasta and the sauce itself.
Cheers. Okay, so I'm not gonna be like uber dramatic and say that it's not like edible, because it is, but at the same time, I also won't say that it's necessarily good. Consistency-wise, it's a little watery. As for flavor, the sauce itself is a little sweet, but at the same time, like very sharp, which I'm not exactly a fan of.
Hopefully these meatballs are a little better.
Even though it's a little lame that there are only 2 meatballs, at least it's a big ball. I have a feeling this is gonna be dry. Cheers. I was right. That was one dry meatball. Along with the texture not really being desirable, the flavor didn't do it much justice either. Pretty bland, need some salt, pepper, honestly anything.
To make matters worse, after doing some digging, it turns out that Buca di Beppo's fall-off and eventual bankruptcy actually started way before 2024. Apparently, back in the early 2000s, Buca di Beppo's executives were accused of embezzlement and accounting fraud, totaling over $12 million.
But for legal reasons, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Please, do not sue me. I don't want to go bankrupt too.
Oh, and one more thing to add is that the founder of Buca di Beppo literally admitting that the restaurant was started in bad taste to essentially mock Italian-American restaurants doesn't help. So my meal is complete, and I've officially locked in my final verdict. Based on all of the factors that I'm judging these restaurants on, it's safe to say that unfortunately, unless Buca di Beppo basically reinvents itself, I just don't think it can be saved.
Even though I didn't like the food, I think the price was the real crime here.
So I'm at the airport, not because I'm flying anywhere, but because every single one of the nearby standalone versions of this restaurant chain have closed down, and the only ones left are located behind TSA. Mission accomplished. We've officially arrived at TGI Fridays. So what's cool about this restaurant chain is that according to multiple sources, TGI Fridays basically invented the casual dining restaurant scene back in 1965 when it first opened in New York as a singles bar. The sad thing is, despite being such an iconic restaurant chain, they officially filed for bankruptcy on November 2nd, 2024.
Hi. Yes, please, just for one. Thank you.
So I just sat down and holy moly, this place is packed. Since it is inside an airport, I'm like 99% sure this is gonna be the busiest place I visit in this entire video.
Now, based on what I was able to find online, it seems like one of the main reasons for TGI Fridays going downhill is actually because of their menu.
Back when they first opened, TGI Fridays focused on classic American bar food like burgers, fries, that sort of stuff. But over time, they kind of lost their identity by somehow adding over 100 items to their menu. Literally at one point, they even served a sushi and pasta.
Clearly they were trying to follow trends and keep up with all of the new restaurant chains popping up. However, that just didn't really work out. From the looks of things though, it does seem like their current menu isn't as intense, but there are still a few items on here that don't really look like they belong. Why on earth are there pot stickers on here? Also, they spelled Szechuan wrong.
I placed my order, and although it is a shame that one of the most iconic restaurant chains in America had to file for bankruptcy, at least the one in the airport is doing just fine.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. Huh. So my appetizer has just arrived. It looks interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Here we have TGI Fridays loaded potato skins. And as the name suggests, we got potato skins topped with cheese, and I think that's bacon. It also comes with ranch. I'm not quite sure why there are green onions in the ranch, but okay, let's give these a shot. Cheers. I don't like that, like not one bit. I don't know if the oil they use to fry everything is old. It leaves this bitter aftertaste in my mouth that I'm really not a fan of. I took another bite just to be sure, and yeah, that bitter taste is like definitely there. Hopefully the entree will be a bit better. Awesome, thank you so much, appreciate it. Ladies and gents, this is a thick burger. Holy cow, this is half the size of my face. Right here is TGI Fridays Whiskey Glaze Burger, which is another one of their signature items.
It costs $18.39, which brings the total for this burger and those potato skins to a little under 34 bucks, which feels very expensive. But I guess that makes sense since everything in an airport is expensive.
To be completely transparent, this definitely isn't the most aesthetically pleasing looking burger I've ever seen, but my waitress did say this is her go-to item here, so, you know, maybe looks are deceiving. I hate that you can tell these patties have a little bit of freezer burn. Flavor-wise, it's not too bad. The patty itself is like seasoned well. The whiskey glaze plus the bacon they have on the burger does add that nice sweet and salty type of vibe to it, which is enjoyable. However, that freezer burn flavor just overpowers the entire thing. So I'm done eating and I'm back in my car. Unfortunately, I do not have that many nice things to say. The service was great. The food, however, was pretty bad. It was not good. It was also expensive. Nothing was unique at all about the restaurant. And to make matters even worse, those aren't even the main reasons why I don't think TGI Fridays can be saved.
Because it turns out that the real culprit who sent them spiraling into bankruptcy was this fun little thing called private equity. In simple terms, this is pretty much an investment group that buys another company like TGI Fridays, then drains them of their money. This results in TGI Fridays not being able to invest in improving their menu, renovating the buildings, or even paying their employees better.
I feel like this may be a reoccurring theme for a few of the restaurants that I'm gonna visit, which is a shame to say the least. But luckily, I have heard some good things about the next spot, so let's get going.
Now, as I get back on the road, I want to tell you all about the sponsor of today's video, Upside.
Upside is a free app that gets you cash back on the daily essentials that drain most people's bank accounts. Gas, groceries, and in my case, dining out. I literally just used it to pay at TGI Fridays and got some money back, which was very nice, especially considering that place was a bit pricey. And yes, I am talking about real cash back, not those credits or points you never end up using. This is real money you can transfer right back to your bank.
Users earn $1 million in cash back every single week, and unlike other programs, you can stack Upside with your existing credit card and loyalty rewards.
The app itself is also just super easy to use. You just open it up, claim an offer, pay like you normally would, and boom, cash back. It's literally that simple. The sheer amount of restaurants I've been to that are available on the app is insane, and it's so nice knowing that every time I eat there, your boy's gonna get some money back. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app by using my link or by scanning the QR code on screen, and you'll even get an extra $10 on your first grocery or restaurant purchase. Again, that's an extra $10 cash back on your first grocery or restaurant purchase using promo code Dylan. Now, I should be arriving at the next bankrupt restaurant here in a second, so cue the transition graphic thingy and whatever song has been playing. Alrighty, y'all, so I'm now in front of a restaurant that once was the largest casual Tex-Mex chain in the entire country. On the border.
Established in 1982 right here in Dallas, Texas, this restaurant chain has been a staple Tex-Mex spot all throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Unfortunately, they did file for bankruptcy on March 5th, 2025, closing down many locations.
Now the good news is, instead of being purchased by the usual bad private equity company, On the Border was purchased by another restaurant group who's actually helping them plan a comeback. The question is that even possible? Can I just get a table for one?
You had this before?
Not in a long time. Yeah, it's been a minute.
All right, so I just got seated, and this place has not changed even a little bit. Inside was your typical Tex-Mex setup. They've got a lot of bright colors, a huge bar, and just this fun vibe that gives off the feeling they want you to party.
Now, one thing that's absolutely amazing about Tex-Mex restaurants, chips and salsa. Before I take a look at this menu, gotta snack a little bit.
Honestly, this salsa is better than I remember it being. It's like nice and smoky, not bad.
With these chips out of the way, let's check out the menu.
To no surprise, just like the other chains, On the Border also has quite a large selection of options, ranging from burritos, fajitas, and these interesting Tex-Mex combos.
Maybe I'm just hungry, but a lot of things on this menu do look pretty good. I think I'm gonna need some help. A lot of stuff looks good.
Okay.
What's like the signature item?
My waiter was super nice and went through the entire menu, eventually recommending their combination fajitas. He also said something I just couldn't ignore.
I'd be hard-pressed to find a better fajita for the price.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of that.
All right.
As per usual, I just couldn't resist a good deal, so I immediately placed my order, and a few minutes later,
That smells fantastic. Awesome, thank you so much.
I was not expecting the food to look this good.
Ladies and gents, here we have On the Border's combination fajitas. For my two meats, obviously had to get some beef. Then we also got the pork carnitas. The meal also comes with your usual fajita toppings. I did omit the beans because I wanted the cilantro rice. And of course, you can't forget about the tortillas. Since y'all have now seen the food for yourself, I don't think it's a stretch to say everything in front of me looks pretty good. I also have high hopes for it because the food itself wasn't actually the main reason On the Border originally filed for bankruptcy.
It was simply because times changed. Full-service dining just wasn't the move anymore, and people began preferring faster options like Chipotle. It doesn't help that they also had major labor shortages and couldn't keep restaurants staffed properly, which made the entire operation fall apart.
The good news is, because those issues were so straightforward, that's exactly the reason why the Papa's Restaurant Group thinks they can turn this whole thing around.
But we'll see if this food tastes as good as it looks.
First up, let's try the steak. Cheers. Hold on.
I would really like everyone to place their utmost trust in me right now, especially when I say this. This is a lot better than I thought it'd be. The beef itself is shockingly tender. It's still juicy. It's not overcooked. I'm a big fan of the Mexican rice. I am very pleasantly surprised. Now let's try with pork.
I haven't even put all of the other toppings on there. Look at this pork. It's like glistening. Cheers. That was a big bite. What is going on? I'm like flabbergasted right now. Why is this good?
Texture-wise, the pork is super tender. It literally pulls apart with a fork. It's nice and juicy, salted really, really well.
But I think the star of the show, no doubt about it, has to be these tortillas.
Which I learned, surprisingly, are made from scratch. Before I even ordered, after hearing that I haven't been to On the Border in quite a few years, the manager came out and actually explained to me.
The Papacitos on this now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Now everything's made fresh from scratch. The old company, it was in bags. Well, Papacitos now is taking over. Everything's fresh.
Gotcha.
Everything, no bag stuff, anything like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Maybe it's just the state of other restaurants nowadays, but hearing that a chain restaurant makes their own stuff in-house was very shocking, but at the same time, very nice to hear.
I finished my meal, paid the bill, and I'm back outside. Now, right away, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. On the Border is by far the best restaurant I've been to in this video by a long shot. It also was the one with the least amount of people actually eating there. My brain is legitimately short-circuiting right now. With that being said, based on all of my usual judging criteria and the fact that On the Border still is the second largest casual Tex-Mex chain in America, I think with all of the help they've received from the Papa Bros restaurant group so far, it's actually possible for them to be saved.
So I haven't been to this next restaurant chain since I was like 12, but here we are at Applebee's.
With over 1,500 locations across the country, Applebee's has been a staple in the casual dining scene since 1980. And honestly, it's kind of an American icon.
What's really unique about this place is, unlike everywhere else in this video, Applebee's corporate has never filed for bankruptcy.
Instead, it's been the individual franchise owners going out of business the last few years.
So the question is, if corporate is doing just fine, why on earth are the people at the bottom who are actually running the place struggling so much? There's only one way to find out.
I made my way into the restaurant, and surprisingly enough, it didn't seem like Applebee's has changed much over the last few decades at all. They still got TVs plastered everywhere, they had a huge bar.
The only difference is, when I was a kid, I remember half of the restaurant being a non-smoking section and the other half being a smoking section, which doesn't even make any sense. Thankfully, it is all non-smoking now. As per usual, like all the other spots, they also have quite the large menu,
with everything from burgers to riblets and even pasta.
Maybe I'm dumb, but I feel like one thing that would instantly help all of these restaurants stop losing money is to slim down their menu.
Since there were so many options, I had a bit of trouble deciding what to get, so I asked my waitress for her recommendations. Little did I know, that would make things more overwhelming.
You put 3 any kind of way you want. Those come 3, the wontons come 3, chicken quesadillas come 4, come 5, mozzarellas come 5, riblets come 2. Here's automatically 4 chicken quesadillas, 4 mozzarella sticks, 5 boneless wings, finished it with chips and salsa.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was crazy. I feel like I was just at an auction.
Unfortunately, the food did take a while to come out, which I found very strange considering the place really wasn't that busy. But after about 15 minutes or so,
ooh, I wasn't sure what to expect, but this actually looks pretty good. Here we have Applebee's riblet basket, which is only costing me 12 bucks. I got here at a good time and got their early bird menu. Love me a good deal. It comes with 3 riblets and some fries. I'm pretty sure these riblets are one of Applebee's signature items, but the thing is, the only other chain I've had barbecue ribs from was Dickey's, I believe, and that was no bueno. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect out of these. First, let's try one of these fries. Huh, that was actually quite a tasty fry. It was nice and crunchy, inside was fluffy, exactly what you want out of a french fry. French fry approved. Now let's try these riblets. Cheers. Wait, who is back there in the kitchen? I think I gotta go shake his hand. The meat itself is shockingly very tender. It's got that smokiness to it, which I did not think would be there. As for the flavor, I got the sweet Asian chili glaze, I believe. So it's nice and sweet, but it also has that spicy kick to it, which I think adds a lot to these. Applebee's isn't even a barbecue spot, and this obliterates Dickey's. I walked in here with absolutely 0 expectations, so the fact that the food legitimately tastes good is a huge shock.
this does bring up my initial question again though, and that is, if the food itself isn't bad, why are so many franchise owners going out of business? Oh wait, I already know the answer. Like most restaurants, franchisees are constantly dealing with things like rising labor costs, leftover pandemic debt, and surprisingly slim profit margins. When those pressures become too much, some franchisees don't get rescued. Instead, they can lose the store. So I'm done eating, and based on everything I'm judging all of these restaurant chains on, I had a fantastic time at Applebee's. The food was good, it wasn't expensive, and not to mention, there's not a lot of places with deals that cheap. As for whether or not I think the chain itself can be saved, it seems like corporate will be just fine, but who knows what'll happen to the actual franchisees. I apologize if that bummed anyone out. I'm not so happy about it either, but it is time to head to the next restaurant chain who arguably has the most famous bankruptcy story of them all. All right, everyone, I've officially made it to the most famous bankrupt restaurant chain of them all. Welcome to Red Lobster. At its peak with over 700 locations, when this restaurant chain filed for bankruptcy in May of 2024, everyone was shocked. So the story behind this place is definitely the craziest of them all, so I'll explain more on the way inside. Founded in 1968, Red Lobster grew to one of the most recognizable restaurant chains in America. For decades, they were the spot for affordable seafood. But when they filed for bankruptcy, all of the headlines everywhere blamed one thing.
Endless shrimp.
Endless shrimp.
Endless shrimp.
$11 million the restaurant chain recently lost on its all-you-can-eat shrimp deal.
But the truth is, that's not what actually killed them.
Back in 2014, a private equity firm called Golden Gate Capital bought Red Lobster for $2.1 billion, which seems cool, until you find out that immediately after gaining ownership, they went ahead and sold all of Red Lobster's real estate for over $1.5 billion.
This allowed that private equity company to basically make all of their money back instantly.
while at the same time leaving Red Lobster to pay rent on buildings they used to own, totaling like $200 million a year.
And if you think that's bad, believe it or not, it gets worse. But hang on a second, let me order real quick. My food should be on the way shortly, so let's get back to the drama.
A few years after the initial purchase, a seafood supplier named Thai Union became the new majority owner of Red Lobster, which at first glance might seem like a good thing.
Since they now had direct access to the supplier, you'd think it would help the restaurant out a lot, but instead,
this company decided to push the infamous endless shrimp deal in order to move their own product at Red Lobster's expense. Think Red Lobster has to keep buying shrimp from them, but then loses money giving out an unlimited amount.
Oh, and before I continue yapping for too long, I completely forgot to mention they did bring out their signature Cheddar Bay biscuits. This might be surprising, but I don't think I've actually ever tried these, but they honestly look pretty good. They're a little flat for a biscuit, but I also don't know if this is how it's supposed to be. Regardless, cheers. Oh, they're kind of cooking with this one. This could be because I just like free stuff, especially free bread. It's nice and flaky, buttery, airy. I honestly think I'd come back just for these. But anyways, although Red Lobster's overall story has been pretty sad, there is light at the end of the tunnel because as of September 2024,
they've come under new ownership and officially crawled out of bankruptcy.
Surprisingly, this new group brought back an old CEO, they're renovating old buildings, and they're even opening up in new locations for the first time in years. Pretty crazy.
But as much as I am happy for them, let's see how good the seafood actually is.
Here it comes. Thank you. Holy. Ladies and gents, what I have in front of me is a Red Lobster seafood boil. In the seafood boil, you have all of your classic items. We got some shrimp, some corn, and some Cajun sausage. For the sauce, I got the Red Lobster signature butter, which to my knowledge is all of their butters mixed together. I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna turn out, but it looked interesting. So without further ado, let's give this a try. I'm nervous. Cheers.
Ladies and gents, my meal is complete, and before I tell y'all about how that seafood boil made me feel, there is something I want everyone to remember.
Back when these restaurants first started, they were built for middle-class America. They weren't fancy and definitely weren't trying to be. They were just affordable spots where you could take your family out to eat without worrying about the bill.
And what's clear is that most of them got destroyed by the same thing. With that being said, it is time for my final thoughts about Red Lobster and whether or not I think this restaurant chain can be saved. Going into this, I thought the food here was going to be absolutely awful. However, I did leave pleasantly surprised.
It's no doubt that this wasn't the best seafood I've had in my life, but for the price, it wasn't too bad. Everything in that seafood boil had a ton of flavor with that nice Cajun kick. The new ownership seems like they actually care this time around. And bonus points for me not getting sick from cheap seafood. With all of that taken into account, I really do think they've got a real shot at making a comeback. Steak is one of the fanciest and most expensive foods in the world, with some places charging thousands of dollars. But long before fancy dining rooms and this guy, it was an everyday meal for a lot of people, not just a luxury. So, what happened?